Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something today that can change the entire trajectory of your life. If you want to see a difference in the way people treat you, in the opportunities that come your way, and the doors that open, you have to stop worrying about being popular, about being noticed, and start focusing on being valuable. See, the world doesn't pay you for your looks, doesn't pay you for your charm alone, doesn't pay you for just showing up. The world rewards value. Value is the thing that makes you stand out, even when you're quiet, even when you're not the loudest in the room, even when nobody's clapping for you yet. If you bring value, people will find a way to keep you in their life. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to hear me tonight with both your ears and your heart, because what I'm about to tell you is not just a message. It's a principle that can shift the entire direction of your life. We live in a world where people chase recognition. They chase applause. They chase likes and followers. But I'm here to tell you that recognition without value is empty. The secret is not to be known. The secret is to be valuable, because when you are valuable, recognition will find you, opportunities will search for you, and people will not just want you around, they will need you around. Value is the magnet that pulls success closer. It's the light that shines so bright that nobody can ignore it. Let me ask you something. When you wake up in the morning, do you ask yourself, how can I be valuable today? Most people don't. Most people wake up asking, what can I get today? What can I receive? Who's going to help me? That's the wrong mindset. If you spend your life waiting on someone to give you something, you're always going to be at the mercy of somebody else's decision. But if you spend your life figuring out how you can add value, how you can contribute, how you can solve problems, how you can make people's lives better, you take control of your own destiny. Value puts you in the driver's seat. Now, being valuable doesn't mean you need to know everything or have everything. A lot of people hold back because they think their gift isn't big enough, their talent isn't polished enough, their resources aren't enough. But let me tell you something. Value isn't about having it all. It's about using what you have. If you've got a voice, use it. If you've got wisdom, share it. If you've got kindness, spread it. If you've got a skill, sharpen it. The world is full of people waiting to get ready. But the ones who change the world are the ones who start with what they have and turn it into something valuable. Look at the people you admire. Every successful story you've ever heard didn't start with someone who had everything. It started with someone who had something, and they decided to make that something matter. They took what little they had and created value out of it. That's why opportunities found them. That's why doors open. You see, the moment you shift from waiting to contributing, you stop being invisible. The moment you decide that everywhere you go, you're going to leave something better than you found it, people begin to notice, because value has a voice louder than your words. It speaks through your actions, through your character, through your consistency. I know some of you are frustrated right now. You're wondering why nobody is noticing your hard work, why nobody is investing in your dream, why doors keep closing. But let me tell you, if you focus on being valuable, eventually people can't ignore you. If you're valuable, people will talk about you when you're not even in the room. They'll mention your name and opportunities you didn't even know existed. That's what value does. Value works when nobody is watching, and then it pays off when everybody is watching. So stop chasing applause. Stop begging for recognition. Stop wondering when someone is going to give you a chance. Instead, wake up every day and ask yourself, how can I be valuable today? If you make yourself valuable enough, people will find you. They'll come looking for you, because the world always makes room for value. And when that happens, ladies and gentlemen, you won't have to knock on doors. They'll open for you automatically. That's the power of being valuable. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that I learned the hard way. Life doesn't give you what you want. Life gives you what you're worth. And your worth is determined by the value you create. Too many people spend their lives wishing for better, but never becoming better. They pray for more, but they don't prepare for more. They talk about opportunities, but they don't position themselves with value so that when the opportunity shows up, they are ready. If you really want to change your future, stop asking, when is my big break coming? And start asking, am I valuable enough for the break to matter when it comes? Because opportunity is attracted to value the way bees are attracted to honey. You can't fake it. You can't buy it. You can't cheat your way into it. You have to build it. You have to grow it. You have to live it. See, we live in a world where people are constantly looking for shortcuts, quick fixes, the easy way out. They want success without sweat. They want recognition without sacrifice. They want a crown without carrying a cross. But life doesn't work that way. If you want to be valuable, you have to be willing to do the work that most people. You have to develop skills that others overlook. You have to build discipline that others run from. You have to carry yourself with integrity when nobody's watching. That's what creates value. Not luck, not connections, not shortcuts. Value. Let me make it plain. Imagine two people applying for the same opportunity. One of them wants it bad, but the other one has prepared, worked, and developed themselves into someone valuable. Who do you think gets chosen? Life always chooses value. And let me tell you this, when you become valuable, you stop competing. You see, competition exists only when people are interchangeable. But when you're valuable, when what you bring to the table can't easily be replaced, there's no competition. People can't compare you because you're in a category of your own. That's the kind of mindset that changes everything. Now, don't confuse value with being busy. A lot of people think because they're doing a lot, they're valuable. No. Value is not measured in how much you do. It's measured in how much what you do matters. You can run around all day checking boxes, but if none of it impacts anyone, if none of it solves a problem, if none of it lifts someone up, you're just moving, not contributing. Real value is about impact. It's about leaving something behind that's better than what was there before you showed up. And here's the beauty of it. Value multiplies. When you live with the mindset of being valuable, people remember you. They recommend you. They talk about you in rooms you've never stepped in. Your name travels to places your feet haven't gone yet. That's not magic. That's value working behind the scenes. Some of the biggest breakthroughs in my life didn't come because I was the smartest or the most talented. They came because I decided I was going to be valuable no matter what room I was in, no matter how small the platform, no matter how few the people. And because I kept adding value, my name got bigger than the room I was in, and one day the room started catching up. So, ladies and gentlemen, I need you to change the question you've been asking. Stop saying, why is life not giving me more? And start asking, what am I giving that makes me worth more? If you answer that question honestly and start living it daily, you'll notice that opportunities will start showing up. Not because of luck, but because you made yourself too valuable to be ignored. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the greatest shifts you can ever make in your life is to stop chasing success and start chasing value. Because let me tell you something, success runs away from people who chase it, but it runs toward people who build value. Success is not attracted to need, it is attracted to worth. A lot of people want a better life, but they never ask themselves if their life is producing anything of worth. They say they want to be paid more, but they never ask if they're given more. They want respect, but they don't give anything that earns respect. The truth is simple. If you want to change everything, you have to change your mindset from what can I get to what can I give that makes me valuable in this world. Now let me be clear. Value doesn't mean perfection. You don't have to be flawless to be valuable. A diamond with rough edges is still more valuable than a smooth piece of glass. Some of you keep waiting until you've polished every flaw, until you've got every degree, until you've saved a certain amount of money, until life feels perfect before you offer what you've got. And that's why you're stuck. Value doesn't wait for perfection. Value shows up with what it has and makes it matter. Your gift, your voice, your experiences, even your struggles, those can be valuable if you learn how to use them. The problem is most people underestimate what they already carry. They think value has to look like someone else's. They say, well, I can't do it like her, or I'm not as good as him, and they disqualify themselves. But here's the truth. Your unique perspective, your unique experience, your unique way of doing what you do, that's where your value is. If everybody looked the same, sounded the same, and worked the same, nobody would stand out. What makes you valuable is not being a copy, it's being an original. Stop trying to fit in and start embracing the very thing that makes you different, because that difference is your value. Let me give you a real example. You ever notice how some people don't seem the most talented, but they still find success? It's not because they're the best, it's because they made themselves valuable in a way that matter. They showed up with consistency, with integrity, with reliability. They did what others wouldn't do. That's value, and people reward it every time. You don't have to be the most gifted, but you do have to be the most valuable in the role you play. Now, hear me on this. Being valuable is not about you, it's about others. Value is always connected to service. You cannot call yourself valuable if nobody else benefits from you. If your gift only helps you, that's talent, but it's not value. True value means your presence is an answer to someone else's problem. Your skills solve something. Your words inspire something. Your actions shift something. That's when people start to say, I can't afford to lose this person. That's when they protect you, elevate you, and open doors for you. Because your value makes their lives better. And here's the reward of it all. When you live to be valuable, you don't have to advertise yourself all the time. Your value speaks for you. It becomes your reputation. People will say your name in rooms you've never been in. They'll call you when opportunities come up because they know you'll deliver. They'll trust you with responsibilities because they've seen your worth. That's why this mindset changes everything. Because instead of chasing recognition, you're building something that makes recognition inevitable. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to change your life, start with value. Not money, not fame, not applause. Value. Because value will bring all those other things to your doorstep in time. Focus on being valuable and watch how everything else begins to align in your life. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something I know for sure. Value is the key that unlocks doors you didn't even know existed. Some of you are standing in front of closed doors right now, frustrated because it feels like life is holding something back from you. But the truth is, life isn't holding back. It's just waiting for you to show up with enough value to be invited in. Opportunity doesn't come to those who just want it. Opportunity comes to those who are prepared to give something in return. When you walk into a room with value, you don't have to beg for a seat at the table. People make room for you. Now here's the challenge. Most people want access before they build value. They want a platform before they built their gift. They want recognition before they develop consistency. But that's not how it works. If you want doors to open, you have to carry something worth opening them for. Think about it. If you were the person in charge, would you invest in someone who wants everything but offers nothing? Of course not. You'd look for someone who solves problems, someone who brings energy, someone who makes situations better. That's what value does. It makes you indispensable. Value also protects you. It makes it hard for people to dismiss you. You might not be the loudest. You might not have the fanciest title. You might not be the most famous. But if you're valuable, people notice. You can lose a job, but if you're valuable, another door will open. You can face setbacks, but if you're valuable, someone will find you and give you another shot. That's why I tell people, don't just chase money. Don't just chase positions, chase value. Because value makes you recession-proof, failure-proof, even setback-proof. When the storm comes, value keeps you afloat. Let me share this. Value is not just in what you do, it's in how you do it. Two people can have the same skill, but the one who does it with passion, with consistency, with excellence, that's the one people remember. If you want to be valuable, stop doing things halfway. Stop showing up with a bare minimum mindset. Excellence is part of value. And when you do more than expected, when you show care, when you give effort others won't, people can't forget that. They'll attach your name to quality, and that's a reputation that travels faster than you can imagine. But I also want you to understand this. Value isn't only about business or career. It's about relationships too. You want stronger friendships? Be valuable to your friends. You want a better marriage? Be valuable to your spouse. You want respect from your children? Be valuable in their lives. Too many people complain about what they're not getting. But the real question is, what are you giving? If you're not valuable in the lives of the people around you, don't be surprised if they treat you like an option. People protect, cherish, and honor what's valuable to them. Make yourself valuable in every area of life and watch how those areas begin to flourish. And here's the last thing I want to leave with you. Value is a choice. It's not something only certain people get. It's not reserved for the wealthy, the educated, or the talented. Anybody can be valuable. Anybody can decide to give their best, to show up with integrity, to live with purpose. That's what makes this mindset so powerful. The moment you stop waiting for someone to make you valuable and you decide to be valuable with what you already have, you change the game. Because when you're valuable, you don't chase blessings, blessings chase you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say this as plain as I can. Value is the currency that never loses its worth. You can lose money, you can lose connections, you can lose status. But if you are valuable, you will always rise again. That's why some people who have been counted out, written off, and even pushed aside find themselves back on top. It's not luck. It's value. When you are valuable, life has no choice but to bring you back into the light, because the world can't afford to leave true value in the dark. Now, the mistake most people make is they try to chase value in material things. They think driving the right car, wearing the right clothes, or living in the right neighborhood makes them valuable. But those things don't create value, they only showcase it. If you take all those things away, what's left? If you strip a man of his title, his money, and his possessions, what remains is the real test of value. Are you still someone people want around? Are you still someone who brings something meaningful? If the answer is no, then those things didn't make you valuable. They only disguise the lack of it. Real value lives inside of you, not outside of you. Let me tell you what makes a person valuable. It's their consistency, their character, their ability to solve problems, their willingness to serve others, and their commitment to growth. Value is not a one-time event. It's a lifestyle. If you're only valuable sometimes, you're not valuable at all. People need to know that if they call on you, you'll show up. If they trust you, you won't betray it. And if they give you a responsibility, you'll handle it with excellence. That's how reputations are built. And your reputation is nothing more than people's memory of your value. But here's the powerful thing about living with value. It multiplies opportunities in ways you never see coming. One act of value can open doors you never imagined. One word of encouragement can create a lifelong connection. One display of integrity can position you for a blessing years down the road. The seeds of value you plant don't die. They grow roots and they bear fruit long after you've forgotten you planted them. That's why I say, don't ever underestimate the small moments when you choose to add value. They're setting you up for something bigger. You also have to understand that value requires sacrifice. If you want to be valuable, you can't always do what's easy. You can't cut corners and expect to be remembered. Valuable people pay the price others avoid. They study longer, they practice harder, they show up early, they stay later, they care deeper. And because they do, they rise high. You can't expect first-class rewards with coach-class effort. If you want the reward of being valuable, you got to pay the price of discipline and excellence. Now, I need to remind you of this. Being valuable doesn't always bring instant results. Sometimes it feels like you're giving, serving, and pouring out with nothing in return. But don't let that discourage you. Value is like a seed in the ground. It takes time, but it always breaks through. The world may not see you right away, but the day will come when your value shines so bright that nobody can deny it. That's why you've got to keep showing up, keep serving, keep adding value, even when it feels unnoticed, because one day all the value you've given will come back to you pressed down, shaken together, and running over. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, don't measure your life by what you can take, measure it by what you can give. Don't chase what fades, chase what lasts. And the one thing that lasts, the one thing that opens every door, the one thing that can change everything is value. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say this straight from the heart. Being valuable is not just about what you do, it's about who you become. If you want your life to change, you got to stop chasing temporary satisfaction and start building lasting value. See, too many people spend their days trying to impress others, trying to fit into circles, trying to get noticed. But let me tell you something. Impressing people might get you attention, but being valuable will get you respect. Respect is worth more than attention, because attention fades, but respect lasts. Now, I know some of you feel like you've been overlooked. You've been working hard, giving your best, and it feels like nobody sees you. You're wondering if all the effort is even worth it. But I need you to hear this. Value is never wasted. Even when people don't see it right away, even when the recognition doesn't come immediately, the value you give is being recorded in ways you can't see. One day, somebody's going to need exactly what you've been building. And when that moment comes, your value will make the introduction for you. You won't have to knock on every door. Your reputation, your character, your consistency will knock for you. Here's the truth. Every environment you step into, you have two choices. You can drain it or you can add to it. You can walk in complaining or you can walk in contributing. The people who win in life are the ones who decide that wherever they go, they will leave the place better than they found it. That's what makes you valuable. That's what separates you from the crowd. It's not about being the voice that makes a difference. It's not about being seen. It's about being remembered for the right reasons. But don't get it twisted. Being valuable takes courage, because sometimes being valuable means doing the right thing when it's unpopular. Sometimes it means standing alone when everybody else is following the crowd. Sometimes it means giving more than you get at first. And a lot of people won't understand it. They'll look at you and think you're wasting your time. They'll tell you to quit giving so much, to stop caring so deeply, to lower your standards. But let me tell you, never lower your standards to match someone else's laziness. Your value is not up for discount. If people can't see it, that doesn't make it smaller. It just means they're not the right audience. Another thing I need you to understand is this. Value attracts value. If you want better people in your life, become better yourself. If you want strong opportunities, strengthen yourself. If you want higher levels, raise the level of your contribution. Too many people are praying for elevation but refusing to grow their value. But the truth is, life can't take you higher if what you bring doesn't match the level you're asking for. Your value has to rise before your platform does, or else you won't be able to keep what you've been given. Let me close this thought by saying this. Value isn't about the crowd, it's about the impact. You don't have to touch millions to be valuable. If you can change one person's life, if you can brighten one person's day, if you can inspire one person to keep going, you're valuable. Don't let the size of your audience make you think the size of your value is small. The truth is, value has a ripple effect. You may not see the wave, but they're moving out into the world, touching lives you'll never meet. And one day those waves will come back to you in ways you never expected. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, value is the one thing nobody can take from you. It's the one investment that always pays back. If you make it your mission to be valuable every single day, in every single space, to every single person you encounter, I promise you, your life will change in ways you couldn't even dream of.